daughters of the American Revolution have ever been deaf to the shameful call of retreat. In any future battles for the right, I do not believe they will ever be found with bullet wounds in their backs.
And utter travesty. I would not feed my livestock the swill that has been issued us these past several weeks.
Gentlemen! The time for debate is past. Our provisions are all but exhausted. Our reserves are thin. Our soldiers are starving and ill-clothed. Our army is weak, outmanned, and there is no prospect for relief of any kind. I ask you, of what use is liberty to a country of widows and orphans? We can stand no longer against the fleets and armies of England. We must put an end to the bloodshed and suffering now. I move that we vote to accept Britain's offer of clemency.
Patrick's right. We can't survive many more losses. I second the motion.
The question has been called, and we have a second. My vote is aye. And what is your vote, gentlemen? Patrick?
Aye.
Samuel?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Benjamin?
Aye.
George?
Aye.
Owen? Aye. Thomas? Aye. Isaac?
Aye.
Nay. Then it is agreed. We will seek British clemency and hope for the best. Our decision will be delivered to the Howe brothers in the morning.
Gentlemen.
Hannah, Hannah, this is no place for you. We do not want you here just now.
Have you made your decision, gentlemen? I stand before you to know. Have you chosen the part of men or traitors?
Madam, the case is hopeless. The army is starving, undisciplined, ill-prepared. To continue in this revolt would be an act of suicide. We cannot hope to prevail against the limitless supply of England's troops and arms.
But what if, after all, America should win in the conflict? After you have thrown yourselves on British clemency, where will you be then?
Isaac.
Hannah, do you not see that these are not questions for you? We are doing what is best for you, for all. Women have no share in these topics. Go to your spinning wheel and leave us to settle these affairs. Oh, my good little wife, you are making yourself ridiculous. Do not expose yourself in this way before our friends.
My dear woman, in the unlikely event that we should defeat the British, then I suppose the men of this council should have to leave the country. But considering the condition of our country and of our army, the possibility of an American victory is remote at best.
Brother, you have forgotten one thing which outweighs all England's treasures. God is on our side, and every volley of our muskets is an echo of his voice. We are poor and weak and few, but God is fighting for us. We entered into the conflict with pure hearts and prayerful lips. We had counted the cost and were willing to pay the price. And now, because for a time the day is going against us, you would give up all and sneak back like cravens to kiss the feet that have trampled upon us. And you call yourselves men, the sons of those who gave up home and fortune and fatherland to make for themselves, and for dear liberty, a resting place in the wilderness. Oh, shame upon you, cowards!
Gentlemen, I beg you to excuse this most unseemly interruption to our council. My wife is beside herself, I think. You all know her, and know it is not her wont to meddle into politics and haul and bluster. Tomorrow she will know her folly. But now I pray your patience.
Take your protection if you will. Proclaim yourselves traitors and cowards, false to your God. But horrible will be the judgment you will bring upon your heads, and the heads of those that love you. I tell you that England will never conquer. I know it and feel it in every fiber of my heart. Has God led us so far to desert us now? Will He who led our forefathers across the stormy, wintry sea forsake their children who have put their trust in Him? For me, I stay with my country, and my hand shall never touch the hand, nor my heart cleave to the heart of him who shames her. Isaac, we have lived together for 20 years, and through all of them I have been to you a true and faithful wife. But if you do this shameful thing, I will never again own you as my husband.
What, my dear wife, you do not know what you are saying. Leave me for such a thing as this?
For such a thing as this? What greater cause could there be? I married a good man and true, a faithful friend, and it needs no divorce to sever me from a traitor and a coward. If you take your protection, you lose your wife. And I lose my husband and my home.
Revolutionary battle after battle was being fought on American soil, and in the grim shadow of each defeat, America's dream of victory faded. Hopelessness and panic were beginning to infect even the strongest of hearts. And on that day in 1776, an offer of clemency seemed like the only solution. But through the hopelessness and broken morale, one woman's uncompromising faith helped to breathe life back into the forlorn patriots. In fact, what Hannah Arnett did that day very likely changed the course of history. After she left that meeting, the council brought the issue to a second vote. They resolved to spurn the offered amnesty and took a solemn oath to continue their revolution for freedom. I'm Mary Ann Mobley, and I am proud to say that I am a daughter of the American Revolution, a member of an organization of women founded a century ago to celebrate and preserve American freedom. It was 100 years after the Revolutionary War. Patriotism was running high, and Americans were joining together, celebrating a century of freedom. Groups and societies were forming to gather strength for this cause. But I'm afraid all things were not equal. At an organizational meeting, the Sons of the American Revolution gave little acknowledgement to the women who promoted American freedom. To make matters worse, the Sons decided to exclude women from the society's meetings. Disappointed, but nonetheless determined, those patriotic women didn't let the Sons' actions snuff their enthusiasm. One woman made her cry public in a letter to the local paper. It was this letter, written by Mary Lockwood and published in the Washington Post in July of 1890, which described the story of Hannah Arnett and inspired a powerful movement of sisterhood throughout the growing nation. Mrs. Lockwood's letter received overwhelming response, and it was clear that women were ready to have their own society, a society to which they could belong, proudly promoting patriotism and the spirit of America. Others joined the organizational team, and together Mary Lockwood, Mary DeShay, Ellen Hardin Walworth, and Eugenia Washington began to take the vision of a woman's society and make it a reality. On October the 11th, 1890, with 18 members and $33 in the treasury, the National Society Daughters of the American Revolution was born. The society's motto became Home and Country, and the daughters set their sights high, making it their credo to promote history, education, and patriotism. By the end of the first year, the DAR had an impressive 816 members across the country. Regular meetings of the National Board were being held out of the Washington home of Mrs. Mary Virginia Elliott Cavell. The meetings later moved to a tiny office across from the White House, a convenient location for the Society's first President General and then First Lady, Mrs. Benjamin Harrison. Seeing the need for a permanent home that could grow with the Society, Mrs. Harrison appointed the first committee on Memorial Continental Hall. Mrs. Harrison died in 1892, but her dream of a permanent DAR headquarters lived on, and in 1904, the daughters laid the cornerstone on Memorial Continental Hall.